Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving headfirst into, well, a challenge that can frankly feel like a persistent headache for any IT pro, managing local administrator passwords across an entire organization.
Yeah, it's one of those things that seems small but has huge implications.
Exactly. For anyone in the trenches, you know these aren't just passwords. If they're not managed properly, they're often the keys to the kingdom for an attacker, a critical security chink in the armor.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter if you're small or huge, getting those passwords unique, rotated, protected from insider threats, it's just fundamental.
So our mission today, looking at this comparison you shared, is to really unpack two big players in this space. Microsoft's LAPS, that's Local Administrator Password Solution, and Delinea Privilege Manager. And we're not just listing features. We want to get to the strategic core.
Right? That's the plan. Cut through the marketing noise a bit, help you, the listener, figure out the real differences, when you'd actually use each one, which fits your company's size, your scope, your specific security needs. We'll pull out the key takeaways from the comparison, make it actionable.
Perfect. So let's lay the groundwork first. We mentioned local admin accounts being powerful. Maybe just quickly remind us why they're such a target. What's the basic problem here?
Well, the core issue is unmanaged local admin accounts are just easy pickings for attackers wanting to move laterally across the network.
The lateral movement problem.
Exactly. If an attacker gets onto one machine and finds the local admin password is the same everywhere else, or, easy to guess, they can basically just stroll through your entire environment.
Right.
So both LAPS and Delinea, they aim to slam that door shut. But how they do it, their whole philosophy and what they can do, that's where they really start to differ.
Okay, let's start with LAPS then. Lots of folks in Microsoft shops have probably heard of it, maybe even use it. What is LAPS fundamentally? What problem was it built to solve?
So LAPS is basically Microsoft's direct answer to that specific problem. The same local admin password being used everywhere on domain-joined Windows machines. That's key.
Domain-joined Windows.
Got it. Its main goal is simplicity. It automatically makes unique, really complex passwords for each local admin account. It rotates them regularly based on policy, and then it stores them securely back in Active Directory.
Okay, so AD is central.
Yep. Only authorized people can retrieve them. It's all about breaking that chain of identical, vulnerable passwords.
So it sounds very focused. How limited is that scope then? You mentioned Windows.
It is very focused. It's strictly Windows systems joined to an Active Directory domain, and it's really designed for IT teams whose main need is just that basic password management, getting unique passwords out there.
And how do you manage it?
Through group policy and Active Directory users and computers, tools most Windows admins already know. The logging is pretty basic too, just events within AD itself.
Okay. And the big draw?
Well, the cost. It's free. If you're running Active Directory, LAPS doesn't cost extra licensing.
Right. Free is always attractive. But, sometimes free means you might be missing out on features you actually need later, or it doesn't scale. So who is LAPS really perfect for? When does that simplicity become a strategic win?
That's a really important point. LAPS is ideal for, say, small to maybe mid-sized organizations that are primarily Windows environments.
Okay.
Where the main goal, the driving role, is just making sure those local admin passwords aren't the same everywhere, that they're rotated and stored securely in AD. If that's your primary headache and you don't need fancy monitoring or complex integrations, LAPS is great.
So specific use cases.
Think about just enforcing unique passwords across all your domain workstations and servers, securing those credentials in a smaller setup where you don't really have complex privileged access requirements beyond that local admin account. It handles basic compliance needs. Are your local admin passwords unique? With pretty minimal setup, gets you moving quickly.
So it's like that first crucial step, a strong baseline. But it's not the whole security picture, is it? What are the limits? Where does it stop?
Yeah, exactly. It's a great baseline. But the limits are pretty clear. Zero support for anything that isn't Windows, Mac.Linux, no. And no advanced privilege access controls at all.
Like what?
Things like session monitoring, application control, or whitelisting, just-in-time elevation. None of that is in LAPS. It just does the password rotation part.
So it's like having a good deadbolt on your front door.
Yeah.
Essential, but it's not a full security system for the whole house.
That's a perfect analogy, yeah. It secures that one specific entry point very well, but it doesn't monitor who's coming and going elsewhere or control access inside.
Okay. So that leads us naturally to Delinea Privilege Manager.
Yeah.
If LAPS is the focused deadbolt, Delinea sounds like, Well, a very different beast,
Yeah.
aimed at that whole house security system idea.
It really is. Delinea steps into a much broader arena. Its scope is comprehensive. We're talking enterprise-wide privilege management.
Right.
For endpoints, yes, but also potentially applications, other systems. It's about providing endpoint protection and fine-grained access control. It goes way beyond just that one local admin password.
And the features reflect that, right? It's
Yeah.
not just password rotation.
Yeah.
Things like just-in-time access are a big part of it, giving permissions only when needed.
Exactly. Just-in-time, or JIT, access is huge. But also, least privilege enforcement, application control. Preventing unauthorized software from running, even if a user has admin rights somehow.
Okay.
And how you manage it is different, too. It usually involves a centralized web interface, not just GPOs. It feels much more like part of a larger privileged access management, or PM, strategy.
Makes sense. And what about tracking what people do with those privileges? Auditing.
That's another major difference. Delinea offers robust monitoring and reporting. It can support session recording, especially if you integrate it with their secret server vaulting solution. It keeps detailed audit trails of who elevated, what they did, when, which is critical for compliance these days.
Yeah, auditors love that detailed stuff.
Absolutely. It makes demonstrating compliance much, much easier than just basic AD logs.
That level of detail sounds incredibly valuable, especially for regulated industries or larger companies.
Yeah.
But couldn't that feel like overkill for a smaller shop? Or maybe just add complexity they don't need? If LAPS is free and simple, what's the real draw for Delinea that justifies the cost and complexity?
That's fair. There is more complexity. But the argument for Delinea often comes down to managing risk proactively and actually improving operational efficiency in more complex environments.
How so?
Well, beyond the auditing, its integration capabilities are key. It's designed to plug into your wider security ecosystem, your SIEM, your ITSM ticketing system like ServiceNow, your identity access management tools. It doesn't live in a silo.
Okay, so it talks to other systems.
Right. And crucially, it can automate a lot of this. Automating privilege elevation based on rules or specific approved requests. De-escalating privileges automatically after a task is done. This massively reduces the attack surface because you're not leaving high privileges active all the time. It enforces least privilege much more dynamically.
I see. So it's not just what it does, but how it connects and automates things, potentially reducing manual work and the risk of human error. And platform support, you mentioned LAPS, is Windows only. Delinea.
Delinea covers both Windows and Mac OS systems, so if you have a mixed environment, that's a big factor.
Right.
It's definitely built for organizations that need those granular controls across different platforms, that need those advanced features like JIT, application control, that deep monitoring. It's about giving the right person the right privilege for just the right amount of time, no more, no less.
So back to the analogy.
Yeah.
If LAPS is the deadbolt, Delinea is the full smart home security system. Cameras, motion sensors, automated access controls, a central panel. Much more comprehensive. So when is Delinea clearly the right move, despite the cost?
It's the choice for enterprises needing that comprehensive endpoint privilege management, especially across Windows and Mac. When things like session monitoring, JIT access, application control, and really detailed compliance reporting are non-negotiable requirements. Also for hybrid environments, places with diverse OACs, complex security needs. If you need to manage elevated access everywhere, enforce least privilege dynamically, record sessions for audits, integrate tightly with your SUM, that's Delinea's sweet spot.
Now let's talk reality. Cost. Delinea isn't free. It requires licensing. It's an investment. And you mentioned complexity that can mean longer deployment, more effort for integration and customization.
True on both counts. It's a commercial product with enterprise features, and that comes with a price tag and, yes, potentially more initial setup effort.
But that complexity buys you.
It buys you that comprehensive security. It's designed to tackle more sophisticated threats, insider risks, and meet stringent compliance demands in complex environments. It's an investment in a fundamentally different level of protection compared to basic password rotation.
Okay, so let's crystallize this for the listener. What does this all mean for you when you're trying to decide? Let's do a quick side-by-side focusing on those strategic implications.
Okay, let's break it down. Key areas. First, scope and platform. LAPS, laser-focused on Windows local admin passwords, requires AD Delinea, much broader. Windows and Mac OS endpoints, application privileges, part of a wider PAM strategy.
Right.
Second, advanced features, LAPS, basically none beyond the core password rotation, Delinea. Packed with them, JIT access, application control, session monitoring, automation rules.
Any difference there?
Huge. Third, management and reporting, LAPS. managed via AD GPO, basic AD logging. Delinea. Central Web Console, very detailed audit trails, specific compliance reports.
Okay.
Fourth, integration. LAPS integrates tightly with AD, but that's about it. Delinea. Designed to integrate broadly, SAM, ITSM, IAM tools creates that ecosystem.
Done finally.
Target audience. LAPS, great for SMBs, Windows-only shops, basic password hygiene needs. Delinea. Aimed at enterprises, organizations with mixed OS environments, complex security and compliance requirements, needing advanced privilege controls.
So it really comes down to weighing that LAPS simplicity and zero cost against the robust, feature-rich, but licensed Delinea approach. Is good enough security sufficient, or do you need that comprehensive layered protection?
Exactly. That's the core question.
Okay, so to quickly recap then, Microsoft LAPS, it's straightforward, free for AD users, great for getting unique local admin passwords rotated in Windows environments. Ideal if your needs are fairly basic and Windows-centric.
Simple, effective for its specific job.
Delinea Privilege Manager, that's the enterprise-grade tool. Advanced features like JIT, session monitoring, application control covers Macs too. It's for organizations needing deep control, visibility, and integration across a more complex landscape. But it comes with licensing costs and more setup.
That sums it up well. It's powerful, comprehensive, addresses a wider range of risks.
So the main takeaway isn't really about which one is better overall.
Not at all. It's about which one fits. Which aligns best with your organization's specific situation. Your size, your mix of systems, your risk tolerance, your compliance needs, how mature your security program is. You really need to think critically about your actual requirements. There's no magic bullet here. Picking the wrong tool means you either overspend for features you don't use, or worse, leave significant security gaps unplugged.
And maybe the final thought, the real deep dive insight here, isn't just about choosing a tool for today's needs. It's looking ahead, right?
Absolutely.
With the way threats are evolving, especially attacks targeting privileged access. Maybe those advanced features in something like Delinea, like just-in-time access or session monitoring, are moving from nice to have toward essential, even for organizations that think their needs are basic right now.
That's a really crucial point to consider.
So as you think about solutions for your own environment, maybe ask yourself, how might waiting to implement more advanced controls affect your security posture down the road? Could delaying that investment put you at a preventable disadvantage later on? Something to definitely think about.